you want a bite?
I'm on a diet, but thank you.
You're kidding, right? You look great. Very thick.
You can always be thinner. Look better.
Well, fancy seeing you here. Very special Mikey likes you. Well, not really, but it's special to me. I'm doing this at Lacey Park in San Marino, California, which is the park I grew up playing at. I happen to be back in LA, and I actually did have access to some studios. I have a lot of friends here, and I thought, I'm gonna go get some steps in and connect with nature, get outdoors. Why not just bang it out here? And I hope you don't mind. I'm enjoying it quite greatly. It's a bit strange, and you start to get introspective when you're in a place that you have this many memories at, spanning over 40 years. But it's nice. It's nice. I want to talk about something that I kind of imposed on myself, a little experiment, and the results are stunning. I would go as far to say they're stunning. So, we all know that I'm doing Project Single Digit, boom, where I had my body fat and internals and all other relevant stuff measured. Thank you to Dexafit in Round Rock, Texas. They hooked it up. I was 11.4. And just for poops and giggles, I said, I'm going to try to get to single digit, so sub 10%. From 11.4, it's not a huge drop, but the leaner you get, the harder things get. So that's what I'm going for. Well, in an attempt to do so, I'm going to have to alter certain things, get a little bit more strict, get a little more disciplined about a couple things. And certainly my diet, my training first come to mind. On top of that, I thought now's the time where I'm going to have to really start accepting a couple of the things that I've been reluctant to fully connect to. A lot of hippier, like a little hippy dippy stuff, what they call holistic health stuff. And that is kind of my sleep etiquette, my habits, and then certain practices that might have been disrupting my endocrine system. Okay, because I'm 46 years old, and even though I am doing the HRT, everything is a little bit more sensitive in this old body than it is for someone who's in their 20s or their teens or something like that. So there are things that, even though I can look at you and say, I'm aware that they're true, I'm not going to waste my time with it. First and foremost on that list, sleep. I've never been a guy who, certainly as a sober man, I've never been a guy who completely ignored the importance of sleep, but I also cut some corners and I fudge a lot where I know I shouldn't be watching this next episode of Fill in the Blank, or looking at my phone at this time, or maybe having this cup of coffee this late, and I'll do it anyway. Because I know my calories are perfect, my protein's high, and I train like an animal, and blah, 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 blah. So I just don't look at it as something that's as important. So I really doubled down the last 2 months or so on making sure that I do the things I need to do to get deep, real sleep. So that was number one. What are some of the things that I did to do that? I turned off my phone earlier in the evening. At the very least 2 hours before I wanted to go to bed. And sometimes, look, there would be nights here and there that came up that I just, unforeseen things happened. And I ended up going to bed later than I even wanted to. That's life. But for the most part, I just, day in and day out, I would commit to getting rid of my phone, putting it off to the side and not looking at it. I would wear my blue light blocking glasses in the evening. And then as soon as I woke up, I made sure that I got a lot of sunlight. And then I also made a commitment to get sunlight throughout the day, and really like a lot of my body getting sunlight, Probably a little harder for you ladies. That helped my circadian rhythms. I made sure to get at the very least a small bit, 100 paces or so of grounding where I would walk barefoot in with the earth touch my feet. Like I said, a lot of hippie stuff. Well, before I get my blood work done, and I'm back here in LA for work stuff, but I also carved out time to go see my endocrinologist, my doctor. And I had my blood work done. I have it done 4 times a year. Every quarter, I get my blood work done and I get it analyzed by my doctor. And it's part of what I need to do to receive my medications, my hormone replacement, right? My testosterone was over 1,600. Okay? Now, before you rush to judgment and you go, yeah, but you're taking testosterone. I understand. But I take an extraordinarily small amount, and it's over 500 points higher than it was 4 months ago. 500 points higher than it was 4 months ago. I take 75 to 90 milligrams a week. That is, this literally happened. This isn't a joke. I've had bodybuilder friends of mine, strength sports athlete, friend of mine, a couple of them, say to me, that's literally like bikini chick dosages. I go, I know. I used to juice. I mean, I used to really use steroids. 90 milligrams a week is fucking crazy low. But it's all I needed to be in a healthy level. But I was in the 950 to 1100 ballpark, and I had been for a long time, and my doctor loved that. I loved that, and I was happy with it. So I keep using that small dose. By changing my sleep, by not using plastics, by tapering down my caffeine, I would still have caffeine maybe the same amount, but I would use lower dosages throughout the day. Instead of having a couple cups of coffee or like a big pre-workout, I would have 100 milligrams, and I would do it at very regimented dosages throughout the day. And I stop about 5 to 6 hours before bedtime. I was a lot more disciplined about my sleep etiquette, so I've been getting sleep more and more throughout the week. I'm getting more and more consistently to 7-8 hours a night, and getting sunlight. And even, by the way, even if you don't have access to real sunlight, like it's a day like today, it's overcast, getting out in the sun and letting your skin get exposed to it, it makes a difference with your circadian rhythms. And then also doing the barefoot stuff where I get the grounding. And then finally, prayer and meditation. I used the analogy about 3 months ago when I said, let's see how it works. I'm gonna diet properly. I'm gonna eat right. I'm gonna train hard. That's a given, okay? Not because I'm so amazing, but that's just who I am. There's certain stuff that everyone out there's stuff you do that I struggle so deeply to do, okay? It's just who you are. It's your personal psychological and emotional makeup. Some stuff, it's just so easy for us to kind of fall into, even though it's difficult. And then other stuff, it's impossible. One of those things for me is exercise and food. I guess, especially I think through recovery, getting clean. It's one of those things I love it. It means a lot to me. And sometimes the more difficult it is for me, the more I start to find a bond with it. And I'm going to eat right, and I'm going to lift weights. Okay. And I'm going to do my daily activity to make sure I stay mobile. But I don't always sleep very well. I don't always adhere to some of my holistic friends' advice when it comes to endocrine disrupting things like plastic, like certain, processed foods, energy drinks and whatnot, diet sodas, artificial sweeteners, artificial colorings. Everyone, I fall victim to that stuff. And I said, what if, just for this period of time, what if everything stays the same? I'm going to train hard. I'm going to eat right. But I also slept really well, or at least tried really hard to sleep well. I avoided plastic altogether. I got rid of artificial sweeteners and flavorings, and certain processed foods that I was leaning on, like protein shakes. And I got a lot of sunlight every day, and I got my grounding in, and then I meditated and prayed every day. Let's see how it goes. By changing those things, I upped my testosterone 500 points. Okay, again, I know everyone out there, internet shitheads, are gonna go, yeah, but you're taking testosterone. I am. I take a very small dose of prescribed, regulated testosterone replacement therapy. No, like I do, I never have hit it. It's only been a couple years I've been doing it. But during those 2 years, every 4 months, I get my blood work done and I get checked out. And my testosterone peaked into 1300 and my doctor tapered down my dosage because of that. He's like, I'd rather you around 1,000, 1,100. That's what we're shooting for. That's perfect. So I got it to 11. It was banking back and forth like 950 to 1,100. We were happy at that dosage. I changed nothing regarding my medication. I changed nothing with my training and eating. I added in meditation and prayer every day. Grounding. Really worked hard, really got disciplined with my sleep, avoided plastic and avoided artificial coloring and artificial sweeteners. 500 points I jumped up. I got the paperwork to prove it. Boom, look, I'll show you right here. Check it out. Oh, and by the way, look at my free testosterone. That's through the roof. That's through the roof, for those of you out there who know. Okay, and my final thoughts on this is like, look, I never want to be the guy who sounds like I'm condescending, like some health dork that's like, these are the things you have to do, and if you don't do them, you're bad. No, I wanted to do this little experiment for a couple of reasons. One, I'm always looking for ways to kind of improve and optimize myself. But secondly, I wanted to see, like, maybe all this stuff that I've been telling myself is bullshit. Maybe there's something to it. Let's give it a shot. Because I'm not gonna not train and I'm not gonna not eat right. That's a given. So what if I really got a little bit more disciplined about my sleep? What if I really started to listen to some of my, more health nut hippie dippy guys and gals in my life who give me this advice of like, don't, the plastic water bottles that you're drinking your water from, like ditch those, maybe get yourself a glass of water. All the Tupperware that you use for your meal prep, make sure it's glass, No more artificial sweeteners. I know you eat right. I know you monitor your intake so much, and so find a little bit cleaner protein powder. No more processed foods, energy drinks, blah blah blah. So I did it. I want to see just what the fuss was about, and my testosterone and my hormone profile altogether. To not just my testosterone and free testosterone. It was so great. It improved greatly, and I changed nothing else, man. So that's awesome, right? And I also know like a lot of you ladies out there that are listening, like, okay, what do I care? Because your hormone profile, your internal hormonal profile is paramount. It's more important than practically anything because it is the biggest sign of what's really going on with your body. When you get your blood work done and you get yourself checked out, you could be shredded, you could look amazing, but a lot of that is just aesthetic and it's not representative of what is meaningful, sustainable health. If you get yourself healthy from the inside, getting yourself looking healthy on the outside becomes easier and it's more sustainable. Always, always, always put health as what is most paramount, okay? And that is the reason why I make the argument that people always say like, well, natural bodybuilding is healthier than enhanced. And I say, no, that's not true. In my opinion, that's not true. I'm nothing against my friend Mike Safiza, natural bodybuilder, Mr. Olympia, one of the best in the world. I'm not saying there's nothing, natural bodybuilding is fucking awesome if you can do it. What I am saying is like, just because it's natural doesn't make it healthier. And here's why. Because bodybuilding is not healthy. So if you do bodybuilding, especially females, without the drugs, your hormone profile is fucked. So in my opinion, if you're going to do something that's super unhealthy, which is competitive bodybuilding, you might as well take the drugs to at least keep your hormones internally a little bit better than they would be if you were not taking the hormones. Now that is not me encouraging people to take hormones. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. If you are old enough or if you have some condition that you need them, do it. I mean, I didn't start till I was 44 years old, and I'm very happy that I did, and I do it in a very responsible way. But I just want to reiterate, just because I'm talking about my testosterone or free testosterone, you ladies, please listen, because your thyroid, your metabolic factors, your estrogen, your progesterone, all of these things fall into the same category. and you can eat great, you could train hard, you can even be looking great, and you could be doing yourself a tremendous disservice to your health. And eventually that house of cards will fall. Now, if you take care of everything internally and you happen to be doing what you need to be shredded and looking like big booty boss lady, that you could do for the rest of your life. Those are the people that you see where you go, I don't even understand. How do they keep pulling it off year after year? How is this guy 72 years old and he looks like that? How is this girl 63 and she looks better than most of my friends and I'm 30? You know, it's because those are the people who put all their ducks in a row when it comes to their internal health first, and they use that to parlay into having amazing aesthetics. So just let me wrap things up and reiterate. This is what I have done. I was already taking hormone replacement therapy, 90 milligrams a week, which is a very, very low dose. And anyone out there who knows what they're talking about will agree. That's baby stuff, okay? But I want to take minimum effective dosage, and I did so. My testosterone, last time I had it done, was just over 1100. By adding in better sleep, day in and day out, grounding, just even for a little while if you can, 100 steps or so, or just standing out for 10 minutes, letting your feet hit the ground, the earth, and getting daily sunlight. As soon as I wake up, I try to get outside, even if I can, if it's warm enough with my shirt off, as soon as I wake up so that the sun can hit my body, so that my circadian rhythms can be better set. And then daily prayer, daily meditation. Avoiding plastic. So no more plastic water bottles, no more plastic Tupperware, things like that. And then no artificial sweeteners, no artificial flavorings. And my testosterone and free testosterone went through the roof. Doing those holistic, easy, anybody can do them. No need to spend more money, no need to get a prescription for something, no need to buy any supplement. I just did that. And that's what happened to me and my hormones. So I thought it was pretty special. I thought it was really cool. I'm pumped on it. And I wanted to base this whole episode around it. So there you go. And in this crazy mixed up world that makes you think that nobody cares, remember I do. Oh, by the way, the Apex program, if you're looking for a training program that will also enhance your health internally and externally, the Apex program available at Train Heroic. I'm also training people personally. If you want custom meal plans and custom training, check out my Patreon. And then on top of that, download, subscribe, like, do all that stuff, because the machines, they need some type of motivation to help me out. And I would really appreciate it. And that's that. I love you. Bye.